Hello, my dear students. In this lecture, we are going to see conduction with heat generation in a plane slab. So, basically, in this lecture, we are going to derive a 3D unsteady state conduction with heat generation for a plane slab equation. Right, that equation we are going to derive. Now, my dear students, here in any component, let us say it may be a plane slab or cylinder or a sphere or any other solid component. In any other solid component, heat can be generated inside solid body by electric power. Right. First way of generation of heat is electric power. Then again heat is generated because of the exothermic chemical reaction. This is the another way of generation of heat into the solid body. Or heat may be generated because of the thermonuclear fusion reaction. Right. My dear students, so in any solid body there are three ways of generation of heat. That is, whenever electric power is given, there will be a generation of heat, then exothermic chemical reaction and thermonuclear fusion reaction. Now, my dear students, let us understand these three ways. Now, whenever electric current is given or whenever electric current is flowing through any device, then heat is generated in that device. You can understand the example of water heater. Now, my dear students, if you see water heater, let's say this is a water heater, right? Here you will find such like coils, right? This is a heater, right? Water heater. Now, here electric supply is given. Plus minus means electric supply is given. Because of this electric supply, the heat is generated within this heater, right? And the same heat is used for heating the water. Therefore, whenever electric power is or electrical energy or electric current is flowing through any solid device, then heat is generated in that device. Again, heat may be generated because of exothermic chemical reaction. Now, my dear students, there are basically two types of chemical reactions. That is, one is exothermic chemical reaction, and other is endothermic chemical reaction. Right? Endothermic and exothermic. These are the two chemical reactions. The exothermic chemical reaction means heat is released to the surrounding. Released to the surrounding. Because of exothermic chemical reaction, the heat from the fuel is released to the surrounding. And because of endothermic chemical reaction, heat is absorbed from the surrounding. Here, heat is absorbed from the surrounding. And my dear students, as heat is during exothermic chemical reaction, as heat is released to the surrounding, therefore, the heat is released in the solid body and heat is the same is heat generated within the solid body. And again, there may be a thermonuclear fusion reaction. Now, my dear students, again in nuclear reactions, there are two types of reaction. One is fission reaction, other is fusion reaction. These are the two types of nuclear reactions. Fusion means, here fusion means, let us say atom is spherical. Let us say this is an atom, right? Let us say this is an atom in any solid body. The solid body is made from number of atoms or molecules. Let us say this is an atom or molecule of a solid body, and the atom or molecule looks like a spherical, means it is like a football, spherical, and the center of this sphere is nothing but nucleus. This is called nucleus, right? The center of sphere is called nucleus. And my dear students, during fission nuclear reaction, this nucleus of atom is splitted into number of nucleus, right? Means this large atom is converted into small atoms. Likewise, let us say it is converting into three atoms. Likewise, means the nucleus of atom is split into nuclei, many nuclei. Here into one, two, three nuclei. And during this splitting of nucleus, large amount of heat is released, right? And the same heat released during this fission reaction is nothing but heat generated within the solid body, right? This is called fission reaction. And my dear students, another reaction is called fusion reaction. And in fusion reaction, the number of nucleus are combined together to form a larger nucleus. Means, let us say there is a first atom, second atom, right, and third atom, and so on. There are n number of atoms. Let us say this is a nucleus of this atom, nucleus of atom, nucleus of atom. One, two, three. I am considering here three atoms. Now, during fusion reaction, nuclear reaction, these three nucleus or these three atoms will combine into single nucleus or single atom, right? And for this atom, this will be the nucleus, center of atom. Atom looks like a spherical shape, right? They will combine into single nucleus or single atom. That means number of molecules will join together is called fusion reaction, and one molecule will split into number of molecules is called fission reaction. And during both nuclear reactions, large amount of heat is released, and the same heat is nothing but heat generated within the solid body. Now here in this lecture we will see heat generation within a plane slab, right? And that equation we are going to derive, and at the end of lecture we will see Poisson's equation, then diffuse equation, Laplace equation, and Fourier equation of heat conduction, right? With heat generation, without heat generation, all the equations we will see, right? Now let us say there is a plane slab. So if I draw the diagram of plane slab, will look like this. Slab is nothing but wall, your wall of your home, right? Let us say this is a plane slab, right? It will look like this. It will look like this, right? This is your plane slab, right? And my dear students, let us say here, from here I am measuring the distance, right? Here x is equal to 0, and here x is equal to L. X is equal to L, right? Now for this slab, the heat is generated within slab, right? Therefore let us say heat generated within the slab is q dot, right? Therefore here this q dot, heat generated within the slab, which is nothing but, it is in watt per meter cube. It is in watt per meter cube, right? Therefore we can say this q dot is nothing but, q dot is nothing but heat generated in the slab, heat generated, right? We can say heat generated within the slab per unit volume. Heat generated in the slab per unit volume is called q dot, which is nothing but heat generated is watt and volume is meter cube, right? This is called heat generated per unit volume, or also called uniform heat generation rate through the slab. Q dot is uniform heat generation rate through the slab, right? Which is nothing but heat generated Q divided by volume, right? Now, my dear students, therefore Q dot is written as Q dot is equal to Q divided by volume. In mathematics, whenever we are doing analysis for complete volume or for complete element, then first of all we are considering a very small element, and the effect on this small element we are observing, and we are integrating the same effect on entire volume or entire object, right? Now so consider a differential element at distance x of length dx. So my dear students, here I will consider very small element at distance x. Let us say this is a distance x, therefore this much distance will be x. At this distance x, right, I will consider a very small element of length dx. So let us consider this element. So my dear students, if I consider this element of very small length dx, this length will be dx, right? So my dear students, from this location to this location, this distance will be dx, right? This is a dx. Now therefore the element is considered in complete slab, therefore the element will be having some volume, right? Now I have considered very small element, differential element at distance x from x is equal to 0 of length dx. Now we will do analysis of this very small element, and we will integrate this effect from x is equal to 0 to x is equal to L, so that we will get effect on entire slab, right? Now my dear students, let us say the uniform heat generation within this element is q dot, which is nothing but heat generated per unit volume. So the volume of this element, what will be the volume of this element? Here you will find the area of this element will be, you can see here, this will be the area of this element, right? For any element on this slab, this will be the area, right? Therefore we can say here it is a area, right? So my dear students, once you got area, you can find volume by multiplying this area into length, right? Therefore the volume of this element, very small volume of this differential element, will be equal to area into length, right? Which is nothing but area into length is dx. The length of this very small element is dx, therefore dx into area, this will be the volume. Again, if I want to calculate mass of this element, right, this slab will be having, is made from the material having some density, and density is nothing but mass divided by volume. Therefore the mass of very small element of length dx will be equal to, we can say, rho into v, which will be equal to rho into volume is a into dx, right? This will be the mass of this very small element at distance x of length dx, right? So here we have calculated volume and mass, right? Now my dear students, let us assume here the heat conducted. Here my assumption is that first of all, I am assuming 1D conduction, 1D heat transfer, unidirectional, 1D heat transfer. Let us write somewhere here 1D heat transfer that we are assuming. The meaning of 1D heat transfer means the temperature is a function of any one direction. Let us say assume here temperature is a function of x direction only, right? Means temperature is not a function of y direction and z direction. There is conduction in only one direction, and after doing calculation for one direction, the same result we will project for three direction, that is along x, along y, and along z, right? Then after calculation of one direction, projecting the same result for three direction is simple case. Here we are assuming it is an unsteady state of conduction. It is a unsteady state of conduction. Unsteady means temperature is a function of time also. Temperature is a function of distance as well as temperature is a function of time also. And the heat transfer at distance x is not equal to heat transfer at any other distance x plus dx. Right? Means heat transfer rate is continuously changing with respect to distance also. Right? And temperature is a function of x as well as function of time also. That means it is a unsteady state of conduction. Therefore, my dear students, let us say along x direction there is a conduction. Now at distance x, the heat conducted will be qx. Therefore, let us say the heat conducted into the element at distance x is nothing but qx. Therefore, we can say here qx is nothing but heat conducted into the element, into very small element at x, at distance x. And as per Fourier law of conduction, that we have seen Fourier law of conduction, as per Fourier law of conduction, this heat conducted will be equal to minus ka dt by dx, minus ka dt by dx. This will be the heat conducted at location x. Now again at different location, that is x plus dx, let us say at this end x plus dx, let us say the heat conducted out of the element is q. At location x plus dx, we can say qx plus dx is nothing but heat conducted out of this element at location x plus dx. Therefore, we can write qx plus dx will be equal to heat conducted outside element, outside at location x plus dx. Heat is going outside this element, right? Outside element, outside element at distance x plus dx, right? At distance x plus dx. I will make sufficient space for the further calculation. Here qx is nothing but minus ka dt by dx. Q dot is q divided by volume. Q is heat generated. The volume, volume is nothing but calculated. Mass is also calculated. So let us write all these somewhere here and make a sufficient space. Now, my dear students, to find this heat conducted outside this element, that is heat conducted out of this element, which is qx plus dx, for calculation of these, we will use Taylor series expansion. Now, with the help of Taylor series expansion, this qx plus dx is given as qx plus dou x of qx dx, right? This is the Taylor series expansion from the mathematics, right? We can say it is a Taylor series expansion with the help of mathematics, right? Now, my dear students, here you will find many mathematics, integration and differentiation, many formulas of mathematics, and many series you will find in this topic, particular topic, right? Now, my dear students, let us do the analysis of this element, right? Now, my dear students, let us consider this element, very small element, right? In this element, the uniform heat generation is q dot, which is nothing but heat generated per unit volume. Therefore, let us find this heat generated, right? We can say heat generated in the element, heat generated in the element, which is nothing but q is equal to, from this equation, q will be equal to q dot into volume, which is equal to q dot uniform heat generation rate into volume. Therefore, this heat generated will be equal to q dot into volume is nothing but area into dx for a very small element. Therefore, a dx, right? This will be the heat generated, right? Now, let us do the analysis. If I carefully observe this small elemental strip, let us consider this small elemental strip. If I consider this very small elemental strip, right, of length dx, right, for this very small strip, let us consider. Now, in this strip, the heat is generated of magnitude q, right? Heat is generated of magnitude q, and heat is conducted into the element at location x of magnitude qx. Right, here you can find qx, and heat is conducted out of this element at distance x plus dx of magnitude qx plus dx. Right, now my dear students, let us do the analysis. Therefore, whenever heat is going into the system, then it is a positive heat, and whenever heat is rejected from the system, it is negative heat. This is a sign convention for heat from the thermodynamics. So my dear students, what is the net heat transfer in this case? The net heat transfer in this case, let us calculate. Therefore, net heat interaction will be equal to heat entering into the system will be positive. Therefore, Q will be positive plus Q. Heat entering into the system, Qx will be positive. Therefore, plus Qx. And heat leaving the system will be negative. Therefore, it is minus Qx plus dx. Right. Therefore, this dq will be equal to, here Q is nothing but a q a dx, q dot a dx, uniform heat generation q dot area dx, plus qx minus, now qx plus dx, as per Taylor series expansion, it is qx plus dou x of qx dx. Therefore, it will become qx plus dou x of qx dx. Right. So my dear students, therefore this heat interaction dq will be equal to q dot a dx plus qx minus qx minus dou x of, now here this qx is nothing but minus ka dt by dx. So let us put here, it is minus ka dt by dx, and again here dx, again there is one more dx, no, right? Therefore, this qx will get cancelled, this qx will get cancelled over here, right? And this heat generated or net heat interaction dq will become q dot into area dx plus, here this minus minus will become plus, this k dx I will take outside, k dx I will take outside, right? This k dx, and here dou x of dt by dx, it will become double derivative, which will become d2t divided by dx square. Right, this will be the net heat interaction through this element. Right, so let us write down this net heat interaction somewhere. Right, here I will write this net heat interaction. Now my dear students, let us write down this net heat interaction for very small elementary strip at distance x of length dx. This dq will be equal to q dot a dx plus ka dx d2t divided by dx square. This is very important result. Right, now here we are going to apply first law of thermodynamics, and this result will be in watt. Right, because it is a heat transfer subject. In heat transfer subject, heat is in rate of heat transfer, that is joule per second. It is joule per second, that is watt. Now my dear students, if I apply first law of thermodynamics for very small element of length dx, then as per first law, the first law for a process is nothing but dq minus dw is equal to du. This is our first law, right? Where dq is heat interaction, dw is work interaction, and du is change in internal energy of this element. Right, now my dear students, here as it is a heat transfer subject, in this subject there is no work interaction. Now here this wall is not doing any kind of work, therefore work will be zero here. So we can say dq is equal to du. This will be your first law of thermodynamics for this case, particular case. Right, and my dear students, dq already we have calculated, right? And du also we have to calculate in watt only, right? In watt only. Now my dear students, for any component, as it is a solid, for solid, here du we can calculate for solids and liquids and gases. This du for solids and liquids and for gases, let us understand for gases. You might have studied for gases, this change in internal energy will be equal to mcp dt, right? And the answer will be in joule. Sorry, it is mcv, my apology. Here this internal energy, change in internal energy is mcv, specific heat at constant volume, into dt, and this answer will be in joule. Right, here always for gases we have to consider specific heat at constant volume while calculating change in internal energy. But my dear students, for solids and liquids, there is only one specific heat, which is nothing but Cp. Therefore, for solids and liquids, this du becomes mCp dt. and this answer will be in joule, but I want answer in watt. Therefore, my dear students, the the specific internal energy or change in internal energy here in terms of watt will become mcp dt by dt. Now this small t is nothing but time, therefore it will become joule per second. It will become joule per second, which is nothing but watt. Again here for gases it will be mcv dt by dt. This is for gases, and this answer will be in watt. This answer will be in watt, right? And small t is nothing but time, therefore again we can write this du is equal to mcp dt by dt for solids, right? As here this wall is a solid, therefore instead of this du we can use mcp dt by dt, where dt by dt is change in temperature with respect to time. Here dt by dt is temperature gradient with respect to time, that is change in temperature Kelvin with respect to time second, right? This is how we can calculate internal energy. So let us put here internal energy and dq in case of this formula, right? Therefore, my dear students, this formula becomes, right, if I apply first law and work is 0 here, therefore this heat interaction dq will become equal to, heat interaction dq will become equal to change in internal energy with respect to time, right? That is in watt. Therefore heat interaction is q dot a dx plus ka dx into d2t divided by dx square is equal to, du is nothing but mcp. As it is solid, we have to use specific heat at constant pressure only, because for solids and liquids there is no concept of more more specific heats. There is only one specific heat, which is at constant pressure. And for gases there is a specific heat at constant volume, at constant pressure, at constant temperature, at for a reversible adiabatic process and for polytropic process, right? Therefore mcp dt by dt, right? And just now at the start of lecture we have seen the formula of this mass. Mass is nothing but density into volume, which is nothing but rho a dx. So let us put here, therefore q dot a dx plus ka dx d2t divided by dx square is equal to, mass is rho a dx, that is density into volume, into cp dt by dt. Now my dear students, from both sides a dx a dx a dx will get cancelled. Therefore the equation will become q dot plus k into d2t divided by dx square, right, is equal to rho cp dt by dt, right? Now if I divide this equation by thermal conductivity k, let us divide this equation by thermal conductivity k, then equation will become d2t divided by dx square plus q dot by k is equal to rho cp divided by k into dt by dt, right? Now my dear students, here we have one term called thermal diffusivity, that is alpha, thermal diffusivity. And the significance of this thermal diffusivity we will see at the end of derivation of this lecture, right? Now my dear students, this alpha is nothing but thermal diffusivity, which is nothing but thermal conductivity k. It is the ratio of thermal conductivity k to the heat capacity rho cp, right? This is the alpha, thermal conductivity divided by heat capacity, that is rho cp. It is called alpha. Therefore this term is nothing but 1 upon alpha. This term is 1 upon alpha. Therefore the equation will become d2t divided by dx square plus q dot by k is equal to 1 upon alpha dt by dt. This will be your 1D conduction equation with heat generation, right? So my dear students, let us use this equation, or let us write down this equation. Therefore your result is d2t divided by dx square plus q dot by k is equal to 1 upon alpha dt by dt, right? Where alpha is thermal conductivity divided by heat capacity, that is k divided by rho cp, right? And my dear students, this is a 1D equation. This is 1D, we can say 1D unsteady, unsteady, because here there is a term of temperature with respect to time, and whenever temperature is changing with respect to time, it is called unsteady, and there is only term of x only. Therefore it is a 1D unsteady with heat generation. There is a q dot. 1D unsteady heat generation with heat generation conduction equation, conduction equation. This is a 1D unsteady heat generation conduction equation through plane slab, through plane slab, right? But my dear students, we are looking for the 3D equation. So let us write down for 3D. Now, my dear students, as it is for 1D, let us say there is a uniform heat generation rate and there is a heat transfer in y direction also. Let us say there is a heat transfer in y direction also, that is qy, as well as there is a heat transfer in z direction also, qz, right? Then, my dear students, for this three directional heat transfer, the equation will become here d2t divided by dx square plus d2t divided by dy square plus d2t divided by dz square we will write, right? So same equation we will compose for the 3D. Therefore, for 3D, the equation will become d2t divided by dx square plus d2t divided by dy square plus d2t divided by dz square plus q dot by k is equal to 1 upon alpha dt by dt. Right? This will be the 3D equation. Therefore, we can say this is a generalized equation. Generalized equation for plane slab. For plane slab. This is a generalized equation for plane slab, where we can say it is a three directional equation, 3D, unsteady, with heat generation conduction equation for a plane slab. This is a 3D unsteady with heat generation conduction equation for a plane slab, right? Therefore, my dear students, the same equation in case of mathematics is written as del square P plus Q dot by K is equal to 1 upon alpha dt by dt, right? This is called 3D unsteady with heat generation conduction equation for a plane slab, right? Now, my dear students, this alpha is nothing but thermal diffusivity. This alpha is called thermal diffusivity, right? And let us understand the significance of this thermal diffusivity. And this alpha is given as thermal conductivity. It is a ratio of thermal conductivity. It is a ratio of thermal conductivity to the heat capacity. The heat capacity, right? And my dear students, if I want to write this alpha will be equal to thermal conductivity K divided by heat capacity rho Cp. This is how the alpha can be written. Now, my dear students, we are going to see the significance of this alpha, right? Now, let us understand the significance of this alpha. Very important term. This alpha is very much important term because this thermal diffusivity is very much used in conduction with heat generation as well as in unsteady state of conduction. And the physical significance of this alpha. The alpha is nothing but thermal conductivity divided by heat capacity. The significance of this alpha is if alpha value of a body is more, the body can come quickly into thermal equilibrium with a change in thermal environment when it is suddenly exposed to it. And whereas the body having lesser value of alpha will take more time to come into equilibrium. Now, my dear students, let us understand what exactly I have written here. Let's understand these things. Let us say you have one container. Let us say this is a container, and in this container, let us say there is a hot oil, right? If I consider there is a hot oil, right here, let's say there is a hot oil. This is a whatever may be the case, but it is at very high temperature. Whatever may be the case, but it is at very high temperature. Let us say here there is a hot oil at temperature of oil, at temperature of oil. And my dear students, here I have two bodies. Let us say this is a body A and exactly identical body I have, right? Exactly, let us say identical body I have like this, but this body is now body B. This is body B. Let us write here, this is a body B, right? So my dear students, wait a minute. Here for this body, I will say this is a body B. Exactly identical body I have, right? And my dear students, for these both bodies, mass is same. Mass of A is equal to mass of B. As well as volume is same. Volume of A is equal to volume of B. As well as temperature is same. Temperature of A is equal to temperature of B. Both bodies are at same temperature, but the temperature of these bodies is less than this oil temperature. Means we can say, let us say Ta is equal to Tb is equal to T, and this temperature of bodies is less than oil temperature, right? Oil is at higher temperature and both bodies are at lower temperature, but the temperature of these both bodies is same. And if here alpha of body A is more than alpha of body B, that is thermal diffusivity of body A is more than thermal diffusivity of body B, then if these two bodies are dropped into this oil, let us say both bodies are dropped into the oil, right? Now, because of the temperature change, both bodies will try to come into equilibrium with this oil, right? Therefore, let us say, as thermal diffusivity of body A is more than thermal diffusivity of body B, therefore the body A will come into equilibrium with the oil as quickly as possible as compared to body B. Means the body A will come first into equilibrium with oil, and then after some time the body B will come into equilibrium with the oil. Means the TA will become equal to T oil first. First thing this will happen, right? And after some time of this, that is after some time of body got into equilibrium with oil, then after some time the body B will come into the equilibrium with oil, which will be equal to Ta. Means all three will be in equilibrium. Means first the body A will come into equilibrium with the oil, and then after some time body B will come into equilibrium with oil as well as A, right? This is the second case. This is the second case, right? And this is the significance of alpha. Now, my dear students, just now we have seen the 3D unsteady with heat generation conduction equation in a plane slab. This equation we got as d2t divided by dx square plus d2t divided by dy square plus d2t divided by dz square plus q dot by k is equal to 1 upon alpha dt by dt, right? This is the generalized 3D equation with heat generation, where this is a second derivative along x direction, second derivative of temperature along y direction, second derivative of temperature along z direction. Q dot is uniform heat generation rate. It is watt per meter cube. K is the thermal conductivity of body. Alpha is the thermal diffusivity of body, which is nothing but thermal conductivity divided by heat capacity, that is K divided by rho Cp. And this is the temperature gradient with respect to time, that is change in temperature with respect to time, right? Again, the same equation can be written as per mathematics, del square T plus Q dot by K is equal to 1 upon alpha dt by dt, right? Now, my dear students, let us understand the special cases. Here we are going to see special cases of this equation, right? And questions will be on special cases only, right? Very first special case is, let us say, the steady state condition. Here I am assuming steady state condition. Now, meaning of steady state is nothing but the temperature is not a function of time. Means the change in temperature with respect to time is zero. The temperature will not change with respect to time. This is called steady state conduction. Therefore, the equation will become del square T plus Q dot by K is equal to 0. And the equation is called Poisson's equation, right? This equation is called, steady state is nothing but Poisson's equation. Therefore, this equation is called Poisson's equation, right? Many times then in examination they will ask what is the Poisson's equation, right? Now, my dear students, again for the generalized equation, they will say it is a without heat generation. Second special case is without heat generation. Let us say second special case, without heat generation. Without heat generation. That is Q dot will be equal to 0. Here there is no heat generation rate. Q dot is 0. Then, my dear students, this equation will become del square T is equal to, here the equation will become del square T is equal to 1 upon alpha dou T by dou T. And the equation is called diffuse equation. This equation is called diffuse equation. Now, many times they will ask you what is diffuse equation. Diffuse equation is without heat generation. Heat generation is 0 for this equation, right? This is called diffuse equation. Now, my dear students, the third special case is nothing but steady without heat generation. Third special case is case number 1 plus case number 2. That is, it is a steady as well as without heat generation. Without heat generation. The meaning of steady is change in temperature with respect to time is 0. Right? Temperature is not a function of time. Therefore, change in temperature with respect to time is 0. Without heat generation means Q dot heat generation rate is 0. Right? Therefore, let us put these values here in this equation. Therefore, the equation will become del square T is equal to 0. And my dear students, for such type of equation in mathematics, we say Laplace equation. In mathematics, this is your Laplace equation, right or wrong? Right, this is a Laplace equation. Again, my dear students, the fourth special case, here we are going to see the fourth special case, which is nothing but 1D steady without heat generation. 1D steady without heat generation. Therefore, here I will write the fourth case is one directional steady without heat generation. without heat generation. Now my dear students, 1D means here d2t divided by dx dy square is equal to d2t divided by dz square. This heat transfer along y and z direction will become 0, and here I am assuming the heat transfer is along only x direction. Steady means change in temperature with respect to time will be 0, and without heat generation means heat generation rate is 0. Therefore this Laplace equation is nothing but d2t divided by dx square plus d2t divided by dy square plus d2t divided by dz square is equal to 0, right? Means it is a steady without the heat generation. If it is 1D, then this term will become 0 for 1D, this term will become 0 for 1D. Without heat generation means this term will become 0, and steady means this term will become 0. Therefore the equation will become d2t divided by dx square will be equal to 0. And my dear students, this is a Fourier equation of conduction. This is a Fourier equation of conduction for plane slab, right? Now let us say there is a slab. You have seen this condition, my dear students, already you have seen this condition. Let us say there x is equal to 0 and x is equal to b, and whenever x is equal to 0 temperature is T1, whenever x is equal to b temperature is T2, right? And T1 is more than T2. Here my assumption is T1 is more than T2, and I am assuming 1D steady without heat generation conduction equation, right? Therefore the equation, Fourier equation, will become d2t divided by dx square is equal to 0. Now if I integrate this equation, then I will get here dt by dx will be equal to some constant, right? Let us say C1, the constant is C1. That is dt by dx, change in temperature with respect to distance, is constant. Means here slope will be constant. There will be a straight incline line. There will be a straight incline line like this. Means it is a linear. Slope is constant means it is a linear variation. Again, if I again integrate this equation, this is a temperature gradient equation. This equation is temperature gradient equation. You have seen these equations in start of lecture. Whenever in the start of the lecture you have applied q is equal to minus ka dt by dx, and with the help of this, for plane slab you have derived the formula of R conduction, which is nothing but L divided by Ka. This formula, conduction resistance through the plane slab, or B by K. It might be a, whenever I am assuming x as a B, it is B by Ka. This formula you have at the start of lecture only you have derived, right? Again, if I integrate this equation, that is temperature gradient equation, then I will get the temperature profile. Temperature is equal to C1x plus C2, new constant, right? And it is the equation of line. Equation of line means the temperature profile will be a straight line. C1x plus C2, the temperature profile will be a straight line, which is nothing but linear variation, right? So my dear students, for plane slab we have seen this generalized expression. So in next lecture we are going to see the special case of this equation. That is, in this special case we will see 1D steady, 1D steady with heat generation, with heat generation equation. Now my dear students, 1D means this d2t divided by dy square will become 0, d2t divided by dz square will become 0. Steady means dt by dt will become 0, and the equation will become, the simplified version of equation will become d2t divided by dx square plus q dot by k is equal to 0, right? Now again my dear students, the unit of this thermal diffusivity is also very important, right? The unit of this thermal diffusivity is nothing but thermal conductivity divided by rho Cp, right? The unit of thermal conductivity is watt per meter Kelvin, and the unit of density is kg per meter cube, into specific heat is joule per kg Kelvin, right? So my dear students, from here this kg will get cancelled, Kelvin will get cancelled, right? Watt is nothing but joule per second, right? So unit will become here in numerator joule per second divided by meter, right? And in denominator there will be here 1 upon meter cube will go in numerator and will multiply with numerator, right? Therefore here the unit will become into meter cube divided by joule. So joule will get cancelled, right? Here 1 meter and here will be meter square. Therefore unit of thermal diffusivity will be meter square per second, right? This thermal diffusivity is having same unit like kinematic viscosity. Kinematic viscosity is nothing but dynamic viscosity divided by mass density, right? which is having unit of meter square per second, that already you have learned in fluid mechanics, right? The kinematic viscosity is having unit meter square per second, and thermal diffusivity is also having unit of meter square per second. Now, my dear students, in convection topic, you might have seen the kinematic viscosity and thermal diffusivity are connected with the help of Prandtl number, right? And Prandtl number, which is represented by PR, this Prandtl number is a ratio of kinematic viscosity divided by thermal diffusivity alpha. That is here nu divided by alpha. This is called Prandtl number. That Prandtl number we will see in convection topic. Thank you, dear students. In next lecture, we will see numericals on this topic.